So what is the subject? Well, the subject is reclaiming dominion. And what I'm here to do is to bust the fictions. And the three big fictions have to do with law, religion and science. They're all controlled by certain entities on this planet, very powerful entities. The science that you get from the universities, consensus science, is mostly all erroneous when it deals with the universe. So I'm going to bust a few fictions there because we really need to know how the solar system works to be able to reclaim dominion and be free. Law, right? We think we go to the magistrates to get justice. Well, no, you're getting a service. It's a service. It's an adjudication service. You could liken it to your neighbours having a fight. So the husband's fighting with his wife, and you turn up at the door and you knock and you say, look, I've come in here to help you with your argument. I heard you screaming. And I can adjudicate for you. And the guy turns around and looks at you and says, nah, piss off. I'll settle this in my house. I mean, he doesn't need your service, right? That's what the justice system is doing. They're providing a service. And we need to stand up in dominion and tell them that we don't need those services. Okay? And we can do the Magna Carta thing, which is ask for a jury, because that's your right. That's our right. Religion. That's the big one. That's the big one. Once upon a time on this planet, and this can be proved, this is known by people who read other literature other than church literature, there was peace and there was one religion on this earth. And it was based on the cycles and the phenomena of nature. Simple. Simple as that. The characters were all the same. They honoured the moving orbs in the sky, which were called the wanderers. The Greeks called them the wanderers. The Jews called them Elohim. The Elohim. Let us make man in our image. They have been called by various names, the cosmocrators, the demiurge. Now, they are the characters that always turn up in our Holy Scriptures. And yet Catholicism and Christianity came along at a certain period of time, very conveniently in the Piscean Age, because that is the Iron Age, where humanity has lost their consciousness. See, this is why we need to reclaim our dominion, because there's a download of consciousness coming and an awakening that's occurring, that if we miss out on it and don't reclaim our dominion, the prodigal son don't turn back to his daddy in the heavens. And the prodigal son is us. We're the ones that have come into this solar system, incarnated here. Here we are. We're all here together on this third rock from the sun, flying around through heavens. How does it happen? How do our souls transmigrate? Well, this is the story that is in these mythologies. If we understand this great and illustrious book, the Holy Bible, what the Jews and the Christians call the Holy Bible, and believe you me, we need to reclaim this book because it's brilliant. It is the best Shakespearean stuff on the planet. And I've proven it with my astrotheology videos. I've shown who the characters are. Abraham, Jesus, Moses, David. They're the planets in the solar system. They are the heroes. And they wander around the seven orbs, the two luminaries, the sun and the moon, and then the five visible planets, visible to the human eye. Of course, Uranus and Neptune and Pluto are not. So Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Venus and Mercury, we see them. And we see Mercury's going around quickly, 88 days. We notice Venus does 225 days. Mars, 687 days. Then we see Jupiter, 12 years. Saturn, 29 and a half years. And we see this. And they're the wanderers. And they go through the signs of the zodiac, Virgo. Saturn is in Virgo right now, actually. If you look out at 9 o'clock to the west, you'll see the Virgin going down. Interesting, because we're in the sign of the Virgin. It's September the 4th, and we are right in the heart of the Virgin. So the Virgin is still there. Isn't the sun supposed to be in the Virgin? I'm going to explain this. why it's not in the Virgin. It's actually in Leo, the next sign down, because of processional slippage, which I shall explain. But these are the things we don't get. We don't get in our institutions, certainly not in church. They won't tell you what this book's all about. But this book has been busted. This is a book from the 1830s, the Reverend Robert Taylor. In here you will find the best astrotheology. He went to jail twice in England for publishing this book, and he exposed. He's done an enormous amount of research, absolutely exposed the church buffoons that are teaching the literal Roman cult version, which is based on a historical figure, which is the whole underpinning structure of all the fictions. And this is what I'm here to expose. That the whole lot of it, the law, everything that is backward in this world, in the Western world, goes right back to a historical Christ. And that is where we've gone astray. Because I'm going to show that the Christ that came in the flesh is the consciousness that mankind possesses. So there's no denying that Christ came in the flesh. He did. There's the flesh and your consciousness that you're enjoying, in which you're able to communicate with one another, is the Christ consciousness. It came. And the second coming is a higher dose of this, as we go from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. We go from mutable water to fixed air. Air, last time I checked, is spirit, the Holy Spirit. So, earthly bodies, hexahedron, that's the hex, the square. That's a symbol for the molecule. See, these are the Platonic solids, the 5 Platonic or Pythagorean solids, and these are the 5 elements, or the 4 Platonic elements: earth, water, air and fire, which come from the cause, the ether. Now this is the science that underpins the whole story of how our souls came to this solar system. This is the science, because we are made of these things. You see, we are solid, liquid, gas and light. Photon, particle, atom, molecule. That's what we're made of. So the soul, which comes from here, from unconditioned consciousness, the firstborn of the ether is the fires in the sky, electricity. Walter Russell. Are we familiar with Walter Russell? Great genius. Please, I'm going to be using this book a bit today because we're going to bust the science, right? This guy busted the science. He debunked Newton and his gravity and whatever theories. He debunked them. Totally out and out debunked it. But they're still teaching it in the universities. And people are graduating on all this false science. He says, electricity is the only force which God makes use of to create this universe. Ooh. Well, that's what scientists like Wallace Thornhill are teaching at Thunderbolt's project. And you can check this out on the internet. Wallace Thornhill is an Australian scientist, and he's teaching about the electric universe, plasma cosmology. But consensus scientists just doesn't get with the times. And they're controlled again by Rome. Okay, so Rome is controlling all of this. Now, I'm probably going to be starting with the law. All right, we're going to bust the law. And no need to write this down. As I said, I'll have DVDs so you can get this information. Okay, so, but that's my website. And this is Franco Collins, and this is another good website. But apart from these websites, I'm going to be recommending, if you want to research the law stuff, Dean Clifford. Okay? Punch in YouTube the name Dean Clifford. And he's in Canada, and he is the best guy you want to be studying and listening to right now. Right now, if you want to reclaim dominion and you want to bust the fictions in law. Okay? Now, the Catholic Church, the Roman cult, controls everything that happens in your courtrooms, okay? Everything, the whole lot. The magistrates wear black because they are priests, they are ecclesiasticals, they are ordinaries. An ordinary is an officer of the church who, by reason of office, has ordinary power to execute the church's laws. So these people are working for the Inquisition. And I'm going to show how they set this system up, okay, via a system of trusts. Now, the trusts are, the first trust was in 1302, and Boniface was he the 8th now? Anyway, that papal bull is Unum Sanctum, okay? He set up this trust, this papal bull, and then there were 3 subsequent trusts that derived their power from this one. Unum Sanctum tells you that everything on this planet belongs to the Catholic Church, okay? You too. That's the presumption, because that's their claim of right. You see, we don't have papal bulls, do we? Anyone, hand up if you've got a papal bull where you've cursed the whole world and claimed to possess the... Does anyone do that sort of shit? No. They do. And they've done it. And these are the trusts. 1455. Romanus Pontifex. 1455. 1481. Attorney Regis. Notice the date? 11 years before Christopher Columbus took off with 3 boats full of, conquerors, conquistadores. They went to conquer a land which did not belong to them, but they were blessed by Rome. And when he came back in the year 1493, he signed the Treaty of Tesadillos, which gave them the whole of the Americas to the Columbus family. That's not the true name, by the way. Christopher, last time I checked, means bearer of Christ, and Columbus is the holy dove. So he went with the blessing of the Catholic Church. So that family, the Columbus family, 12 years after this date, and I'll show you why this is very important, because this is the property that they've stolen off us. And so they split it up between the Columbus families, the elite families, and the Vatican Church families, because the elites own the biggest corporation on the planet, which is the Vatican. Right? They deal in, well, it's a business. And the most profitable business that they deal in is war, people trafficking, enslaving countries, conquering countries, making fictional money, Federal Reserve money. They're in bed with the banks. They're in bed with the Rothschilds. In fact, one of the 6 founding dynasty sons of Rothschild, Amschel Rothschild, went down to Naples and begun a long history of looking after Vatican money since 1823.